welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the vlog. So today I did take the opportunity to get the muscle truck out. It's extremely nice outside. You know, it's like 70 degrees in the middle of December, which is kind of unheard of around here. You know, East Tennessee usually sees like 40, 30 degree weather this time of year, so pretty awesome chance for me to get the truck out and drive it a little bit. I'm just doing a little shakedown on it. You know, I told you guys before, we've been thinking about going a different direction with this truck, so that's kind of what this video is about. Just kind of go over where we're at and what we may end up doing. Now, one other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, kind of a big deal, but this thing actually, this truck just became an antique. So, pretty cool. You know, once you hit 25 years of age, you can actually make the truck an antique. So that's what I decided to do. You know, what that does do for you is it drops your plates, so you never have to worry about purchasing, renewing tags, plates, any of that stuff. All that goes away. That, you know, you can put a permanent plate on there when you hit 25 years and older, and they become an antique. So I went ahead and done that this week, and I've had these plates laying around for a little while, and I figured I'd go ahead and throw them on and make you guys a video, because you haven't seen this truck in a while. Had several people asking him where it was at, and it's been sitting on a lift for a while, guys. You know, we've been working on several different builds, and we've been doing a bunch of different things. And the last video I did was the dash install. I'm gonna step over here and show you guys that. So the last thing I did here was the dash install, and it turned out really good in this truck. And this is one of those dash skin caps that you can get online. They are fantastic. The fit is really good, as you guys can see, still holding up good. Been in the truck for quite a while. And then the last thing we also did was we put this little cubby hole in, deleted the stock radio, and that was a huge upgrade. Looks a whole lot better than the stock radio in my book. Unless you're going to do one of those replacement radios, it's really the best way to go is to take the stock radio out, put the cubby hole in, and buy yourself a nice double din. But what I wanted to talk about today, though, was the direction for this truck and some of the things that I'm looking to change. So as you guys know, if you've watched some older videos, you know this is a 327. You know, it's 11-to-1, and it makes really good power. It's a great little engine, but it's got about 35,000 miles on it. And what I wanted to talk to you guys about today was some replacement options. That's one of the things that I was kind of concerned with, was a replacement for this truck. You know, I really like the idea of having a 5-speed, because right now this truck is the NV 3500. So as far as how everything was swapped over, if you got questions about that, hit up the video for everything you need to know about the muscle truck. That'll get you guys up to speed if this is your first time watching. If not, thanks for being a subscriber. And if you haven't done that already, be sure and click the subscribe button. But what I wanted to do was talk about the direction for this build and some of the things I'm looking to change. So you guys know I'm a huge LS guy. You know, we got the Camaro LS3, Mom's Cars L99s, pretty much the same thing. And kind of a firm believer in the LS platform, and I'm looking towards putting one of those in this truck. There's several different routes I can take. You know, we can do a junkyard 5.3 and build it. We can do a crate engine. We can scrap the 5.3 idea and go to an LS1 or LS2, and you know, even go wild and find a takeout from a 5th gen Camaro. You know, LS3 and 6060, a TR6060 in here would be a good time. But you know, all those come down to how much money are you willing to spend and how far do I want to take it. So just to answer some questions about like power levels and where this thing's at. So right now this truck makes about 400 at the crank. So probably about a 350, 345 wheel horsepower truck. I mean, it's pretty strong, pulls good. It's got a lot of torque down low, and the throttle response is fantastic with it, but that's one of the things that I'm gonna miss. You know, this truck has a fantastic throttle response, and it, you know, it's red light to red light is a lot of fun, but up top, I will admit though, once you get past 100, it starts to fall off kind of. So, and then really in the RPM, I'm sure if I could get this thing on a dyno, you'd really see it, but you know, the torque curve and the power band, once it gets up to about 58 to 6, it's done. You know, you're just revving from there. So that's one of the cool things about the LS engine, is they kind of go all the way to redline, where this old small block, you know, it pulls really good up to a certain point, and then it kind of falls off. You know, as far as the gearing in it, I am going to leave the 373 in the back. Now, honestly, I don't know if it's a 373 or 342, but I know it's geared pretty low, because 5th gear at 50 miles an hour is like 1,500 RPMs in this truck. So in comparison to Dad's truck, if you follow in that build, the green truck, you know, it's definitely got like a a 273 or something in it, 308, because the gearing in it's crazy. He can be in 4th gear at 50 miles an hour and turn 1500. So that tells me these transmissions are the same, but it's a huge difference in the rear gear. I'm gonna have to also check on my, everybody said, oh, check your RPO codes. Well, let me show you guys something. This truck has 355,000 miles, so any RPO codes are pretty much just gone. Here's all the RPO codes I've got. Nothing's left of them. As you guys can see, nothing is really left of the RPO codes. They're really hard to make out. But, the top line is pretty much, you can't really read it. All the other lines are somewhat there, but the ones that would tell for the rear end, if you guys can spot it on here, maybe I'm just wrong, but it's really hard to read half this stuff. So I need to do some research and see what rear end is actually in the thing. Looking into the future and thinking about what I want to do with this thing, I definitely want to end up going with some form of an LS. As far as what kind of LS I want to do, I really don't know yet, but I want you guys' input. Let me know what you think. Should we stick with the small block? Should we do an LS? I've talked about this in some other videos as well, and you guys were really great about doing some responses. And the other thing I'm kind of thinking about even doing is just re-bringing this thing, maybe doing another small block build, because I already have, this is something to keep in mind, guys, I already have the headers, the carburetor, the proper mounts, the proper brackets, the AC, everything works, the fans work. Doing an LS, the mounts have got to change, my whole front accessory changes, fuel system changes, AC is going to have to change. There's a whole lot of stuff, and it gets really expensive too. That's the other problem, is I don't really want to blow a ton of money. I could do a crazy build, but I don't know if I want to go that route with this truck. I love the thing, but I just don't know if you're talking about $10,000 worth of stuff into a truck. Probably going to need a lot more than that. And you're talking about $10,000 if I did like a crate engine and a different trans, and I'm going to have a tune, custom wiring harness. There's a lot of stuff that's involved with it. A lot of people say, why don't you just do a carbed LS? And well, that would be fine and dandy, but a lot of the reason for doing an LS swap would be to get that fuel economy, and that's one thing I'm not really going to get with the carbed LS. You're just given that, the efficiency of it. The whole reason to do an LS is to have something that senses air changes and temp changes, and I don't have to carry a Phillips head screwdriver with me to adjust it everywhere I go, because that's what I run into with this thing sometimes, is if I haven't drove it in a while, I'm tuning the carb, I'm adjusting the throttle and the set and everything. I just feel like I'm constantly chasing my tail with that. And it's not really a big deal, but it's just something that kind of bothers me. And I'm kind of just trying to decide right now which direction I want to go. But I just wanted to let you guys know, still have the truck, it's still here, and everything's going pretty well with it. Actually, it's still holding up really good. This thing has been beat on. It's got a ton of miles on it. It's got an MV3500, 342, 373 rear end. I'm not really sure which one it is. I can tell you that it's awesome on the street. As far as, I get a lot of questions about this wheel tire setup too. And one thing on these, if you're doing, the 20s up front, I went way too low. So I've got a 2-inch drop spindle and a 3-inch drop spring. So I have a 5/6 drop. And the problem with a 5-inch drop, and you guys can see there, it's kind of tight, but the truck's honestly kind of tilted. I'll show you this right here. Okay, if this was a 20, I'm pretty sure that I would rub, or I'd have to roll some fenders for sure. Because right now, I'm not really rolled. I kind of crease the fenders in the back a little bit, but they're not really rolled. And I don't rub at all. So as far as like a tire size, you guys, this is a 275/40 on a 20, and then on a front, I believe it's a 255/40. Yep, 255/40 18. So I am running 2 different tire brands. So for all you guys that's gonna call me out on that, I am. I've got a set of Pirellis on the back and Sumitomo's on the front. The reason for that is because I went to a wider tire and I found a take-off set of rear tires from a 5th gen Camaro. So they were 275/40s, which is exactly what I wanted to run. So instead of buying tires to match, I just ended up using the Pirellis and they do a good job. Once you get some heat in them, man, those things really, they hook up, they do pretty good. I just want to let you guys know my dilemma right now and why I'm trying to decide if I want to do small block and reuse a bunch of parts and be in it for a whole lot less money, or do I just go ahead, bite the bullet, throw a big LS down in it and have some fun. But you know, it just all boils down to how much you're willing to spend. And honestly, I don't know if I'm willing to spend the amount of money that it would take to put an LS in here, guys. You know, I've looked at it. I've had a lot of you guys saying, yeah, do it. And then some of you guys are like, no, let's keep the small block in there. It's really hard to decide because it's just so much money involved in this stuff. And you know, the whole purpose of this build is to kind of show you guys what you can do on like a budget, because I don't have a ton of money to throw at this, and I'm just kind of having fun with what I've got, you know. And I think that's what's awesome about this truck, is that, you know, it just shows what you can do on a budget. You know, this was a junkyard small block that we took and built up and put a set of heads on it and, you know, up the compression and threw it all together, but it came out really good. But I just wanted to give you guys a muscle truck update because it's been a while. Let you know that we're still working on it, and the winter coming up, and it gives me a good time to start building this thing again and getting you guys some good content out. And you know, I'll try to document everything we do. And if there's anything else that you guys want to know about this thing, you know, be sure and check out all the other videos related to the muscle truck. It goes over everything as far as the fuel system, suspension, and, you know, how to make this thing, you know, swap it over, and how to make it fire, and how to make it run on the stock fuel system, all that stuff. It's really simple. And if you guys are thinking about doing it and going small block, this is the most affordable, easiest, cheapest way to do it and make big power. So if you guys haven't done it already, be sure and hit that subscribe button and follow me and follow this build, and we'll see where it goes. And hopefully this will give you guys some good ideas for your builds as well if you're doing one of these trucks. And thanks for watching, guys. I will catch you in the next video. I'm out.